Hello traders, today we're going to be looking at everything you need to know about new Spike Trader version 2.0.0. And if you're not following me on this channel, make sure to follow me so you get detailed videos on how to use Forex reports like this. Alright, so the new Spike EA is an expert advisor designed to capitalize on new spikes as a result of news impact using simple candle and volume analysis. Whenever a news is released, the market tends to move in a certain direction, sometimes in both directions, right? It's called a scissors moves where the market moves up and down, but there is essentially volatility in the price whenever a news is released. The new Spike EA does not try to predict that direction. Rather, it follows the direction by placing a trade after the first initial spike, expecting the price to continue moving in that direction. So whenever a news is released, and let's say the news had a positive impact on the pair, and the new spike A spots a bullish candle, it's going to open a trade. All of this happens within a second, right? So it's going to place a trade. If it's a buy position, it's going to place a buy position, banking on the fact that the price is going to continue going up. Or if it's a sell position, it's going to open a sell position, banking on the fact that the price is going to continue going down. Okay. All right. So how to install the new Spike A? Now the new Spike A is compatible only with the MetaTrader 4. So make sure to have the MetaTrader 4 on your Windows or on your Mac before proceeding with the future steps. Okay. To download the new Spike Trader EA, head over to tradingkernel.com, search and click on the new Spike Trader EA. As you can see, I'm currently on the new Spike Trader EA page here, and you can see that this software is available for just $249 only. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm going to be adding a discount code below where you can get 50% off this price. All right. Now, next thing here, you can notice here are the settings for the new Spike Expert Advisor. Now, the most important thing I want you to note here is that to proceed with this expert advisor, you need to make sure that you have an ECN account with low spread. And it also works on prop firms that allow news trading, but you should make sure that the prop firm you're using has low spreads during these impact news announcements. Okay. Now, next thing here, you can see I have a section where I can download this product for free. Usually, if you're accessing this site, you wouldn't find this section. The reason why I have it is because I'm actually subscribed to the gold membership, which means I can download any software from Trading Kernel for free. Now, if you're going to be downloading a single product from Trading Kernel, I suggest you just add to cart and purchase that software. But if you're going to be downloading a lot of software over time, I suggest you subscribe to the membership so you don't have to pay for your software every time you have to download it. And to do that, you just have to search for our memberships. As you can see, our memberships page here gives you access to the memberships page where you can actually subscribe to any of the memberships. So I'm going to be downloading this product here. So as you can see, I currently have the new Spike EA on my desktop. Just going to right click on it and click on extract. Click on extract here. And I currently have the new Spike EA folder right now. So I'm going to open up I have the experts folder here, and I also have the presets folder. So if you open up the experts folder, you can find the expert advisor here. So I'm just going to right click on this and click on copy and head over to my MT4 here. As you can see, I have a fresh MT4 here. So I'm going to click on file, click on open data folder, and I'm going to click on MKL4, click on experts, and I'm going to paste this here. So I'm going to replace the previous file I had, and I'm going to close out of here. So I'm going to right click and click on refresh, and then I'm going to double tap on the new Spike Trader here. So I have the new Spike Trader EA here. I have the common section. You need to make sure you have allow live trading enabled here, and you have the input section here. So I'm going to be explaining all of these inputs during the functions of the expert advisors. Okay, so now we have all of that enabled here. I'm just going to click on OK. And you can see we now have the new Spike Expert Advisor installed on my MT4. All right, so here's another thing I want you guys to note here. If the Expert Advisor didn't load up, be sure to click on Tools, click on Options, and enable Allow Dialog Imports and Web Request here. How does the new Spike EA trade the news? Once the news is released, there's usually an increase in volatility, and the price tends to move rapidly, usually in one direction. Now, depending on the news Spike EA spots this move and quickly places a trade in that direction. Like I explained earlier, all of this happens under a second. It also places this trade using a stop loss and take profit parameters. Now, the risk to reward for that is set at 1 is to 2.5 to 5 for major news announcements, and 1 is to 0.5 to 5 for minor news announcements. Now, this is because the ratio in between is the partial close. So let's say we have a buy position and we have a stop loss set at 100 points, right? We have a take profit set at 500 points. And then once the price gets, if the price goes up and gets to 250 points, our partial close is triggered, and the expert advisor starts partially closing all of the trades. Now, depending on the lot size you used, the expert advisor could close up to 20 to 40 times until the lot size left is less than the partial close requirements. All right, so let's take a look at the MyFX book test of this expert advisor. All right, so this is the MyFX book test of the expert advisor. Just going to refresh this here so you can see it properly. Now, you managed to make around 118% using this expert advisor, but I don't want you to look at the profit generated by this expert advisor or the percentage generated by this expert advisor. What I want you to look at here is basically the trades taken. So I'm going to click on the history here and click on, yeah, so you can see the trades taken. We had trades on GBP USD, USD JPY, and AUD USD. Now, another thing you can note on trades taken here is the symbols. So we are trading on symbols that has high liquidity so that we don't have spread and slippages whenever the news is released. Now, usually that is going to happen, but sometimes trading on USD pairs like Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD, and USD JPY tends to have lesser slippages and spreads than trading on AUD CAD or that crosses. All right. Now, I want you to also note the duration of this trade here. As you can see, the duration of this trade here was in 7 seconds. So in 7 seconds, the trade was opened and closed. You can see this one here was also 2 seconds. So within 2 seconds, the trade was opened and the trade was also closed. Right. If I scroll down here, you can see the duration of each of the trades. If I head over to the next section here, you can see 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 6 seconds, 59 seconds, right? If I go back here to the next section here, you can see 3 seconds and 2 seconds, all right? So basically, the duration of the trade on average is within 1 to 5 seconds, depending on how volatile the news is. So as you can see, this is something that a human cannot even trade, all right? To bank on that profit being that duration, okay? So what are the advantages of the new Spike EA? Now, the first advantage here is the speed of order execution. As you can see from the MyFX book, the expert advisor performs all of its calculation in under a second, and it also places a trade, right? And it is so fast that it's able to take advantage of the initial spike and actually profit from that trade. Now, the second advantage here is automation, right? Because everything is automated, you don't need to specifically do anything during the news, or you just watch the expert advisor trade, or you don't even have to watch it. I recommend installing this expert advisor on a VPS, so you can probably be somewhere. As long as you've set up everything, it's going to trade for you. It also has a huge profit potential. Personally, I do not recommend risking high percentages of your account. So you could risk somewhere between 0.5 to 1% of your account, maybe even 2% of your account, and it has the potential to give you 10% or 5% or 2.5% profit, right? So it also uses a stop loss to avoid major losses. Like I said, the expert advisor spots a move in one direction and enters a position in that direction, but there's a possibility that the price can, go in one direction and then go in another direction. We call that a scissors move, right? This usually happens, and the expert advisor uses a stop loss to avoid major losses when the trade goes against us. This expert advisor was also developed to work on any news. It doesn't specifically has to be news related to the US dollars. You can also trade news specifically related to AUD, GBP, or even the JPY, right? You can also work on back testing. So if you have your dates for the news, you can backtest through those specific dates and see how the new spike expert advisor worked during those days. Now, for the backtesting, I recommend using quality data. Personally, I use TixU data, but you can use Dukas Copy or any other source that you can download news quality data from and backtest it on the news so you get more precise performance of the expert advisor. All right. Now let's look at the disadvantages of the new spike here. One is the speed of order execution. Now you noted that in the past we had speed of order execution as an advantage. Now we also have this as a disadvantage because our expert advisor is fast, but sometimes it's not just fast enough to avoid slippages. There are expert advisors that are built just like our expert advisors, but do not trade on MT4 or MT5. They have way faster speed of execution, and these are probably used by investment companies or hedge funds to place trades and capture orders when the price moves in a certain direction. Hence, causes slippages for us who are entering next in the market. So let's say, for example, with the expert advisor detects a position around zero point 0.4, a buy position around zero point 0.4, right? So it places, sends an order, but all of the orders between zero point 0.4 and zero point 0.7 has been filled, and the next order available is zero point 0.8. So we sent an order around zero point 0.4, we get triggered around zero point 0.8, which is very bad for us traders. Okay. Now, there's also huge spreads during news announcement, which is why I recommend trading on high liquidity pairs like the Euro USD or the GBP USD to avoid having huge spreads. Okay, there are also some brokers that have high spreads on Euro USD or GBP USD, so try avoiding those brokers. Stop loss used to avoid major losses is another disadvantage here, because while it's an advantage, sometimes because of the volatility, the price could come down, trigger our stop loss, and go right back up, and then we miss out on the full potential of that trade because we are using a stop loss. Now, being not fully automated is another disadvantage too. The expert advisor is not fully automated in the sense that you actually have to tell it when to trade that volatility. So, for example, the news announcement is by 12:30. You have to set the time for the expert advisor to open a trade and also close that trade. All right. Now, remember, I keep saying this: an expert advisor will do what you ask it to do, not what you think you asked it to do. Okay, so sometimes you might make mistakes, you might disable algo trading, or you might not allow live trading, and the expert advisor ends up not making a trade, right? Or you load the wrong set file, and the expert advisor will end up taking a wrong trade. Right now, while all of these disadvantages are major subjects to be considered before using this EA, it is important to note that there is no EA that can be fully automated to trade new spikes due to the future uncertainties. For example, we know that for a while now, the Fed has been keeping the interest rates stable, and during the FOMC announcements, there is usually not much volatility around that time. So, as a trader who is aware of that, I wouldn't trade the FOMC for now. Due to future uncertainties like this, it is almost impossible to develop an expert advisor that can be fully automated to trade new spikes. Using this EA exactly as we described can generate profitable and consistent results on the long term. You can start by practicing on a demo account for at least 3 months before proceeding to maybe using a live account or something. Okay, so how to trade with the new spike EA? You can install the new Spike EA on the 5, 15, 30, or 1 hour time frame, depending on how fast you want your entry to be. So if you want to get a fast entry, you can set it up to the 5 minutes. If you want to get a slower entry, you can set it up on the 1 hour. Okay. Now you should also visit platforms like Forex Factory to check if there is any news for the day. Then check if it is a major news or a minor news on the news list. Here we classify news like CPI, interest rates, GDP, and the US NFP as major news announcements, and news like retail sales, PPI, ISM jobs manufacturing as minor news announcements. Now, when we say major news announcements, these are news announcements that tend to have higher volatility, and the minor news announcements tends to have lower volatility when they are being announced. Right, so you load the set file for major news if it is a major news announcement, or minor if it is a minor news announcement. Right, next you check the time for the news and add it to your inputs. Ensure to check the current broker time and the platform which is Forex Factory in this case, time to ensure that you have entered the correct time. Now you can configure the settings to close the trade at the open of the next candle or at the close time. Ensure you have allow live trading enabled and then enable auto trading. After the news announcements, you can disable auto trading. All right, so let's proceed to do all of this visually. Now, on the file you downloaded from Trading Kernel, it came with an expert directory and also with a presets directory. So on this presets directory, you're going to find the new spike major set and the new spike minor set, right? So I'm going to right click here, I'm going to copy all of this here, and I'm going to head over to our terminal here, click on file, click on open data folder, and then I'm going to click on MQL4, click on experts, rather click on presets rather, and save this. I could save this in the folder here. Let me just create a new folder here and say new spike presets. Okay, then I could open up this folder here and I could paste it here. All right, all of these are just configurations for either a major or a minor news. Next, we can head over to our website here and click on Forex Factory. Now, these are all of the news that we have today. And as we can see, there is no major news for any pair today. If I go to tomorrow here, you can see we have a major news here for a minor news. You can see we have a minor news here for PPI. This is for USD. And this is by 1:30 p.m. Right, so let's just assume this was by 7 p.m. today, which is the federal balance budget. This is not a major or minor news. I'm just using this as an example, right? So let's say this was either the NFP or this was the CPI to be released by 7 p.m. today. Okay, I'll note the time here. Let me just refresh this here. I'll note the time here is 1:46 p.m. and the time on my broker is 3:46 p.m. So I know my broker is 2 hours ahead of what I have on Forex Factory. So if I right click here and click on expert properties here, or I could just load the expert advisor all over again. Okay, just double tap here and click on yes. First, we have to load the set file. I'm going to click on load to load the set file here. And because it's a minor news announcement, I'm going to click on minor and click on open here. Next, I have to set the time. So in this case here, I'm going to set 9 p.m. because it's 7 p.m. and my broker is 2 hours ahead. I'm going to set it to 9:30. Now you can set it to 9:15 or 9:05 depending on what you want, right? And a risk here, you can set your risk to 0.5% to 2% depending on how much of your account you want to risk. Okay, so all of that configurations has been done for you, but a little configuration you have to look at here, which is the major difference between the major and the minor news, is the partial close trigger here. Okay, so the partial close closes your trade once the price gets to 50 points above your entry, it begins to partially close the trade. And the partially closed lots here, depending on your lot size, I could set this to 0.2, so I have a lot of trades to close, giving my giving the price time to continue to move towards my take profit before I can completely close all of the trades. Okay, now we also have other settings here that you can configure probably on your back test or if you want. Okay, so once you're done with that, you can just click on common and make sure you have allow live trading here. Okay, and you click on OK. Now once you have that enabled, the expert advisor is going to trade in that time. As it says here, trading starts in 6.48 hours, okay, which is 6 hours 48 minutes, right? Also make sure you have algo trading here enabled here. So it's enabled right now, and once it's done trading, you can disable algo trading and hope for the next news that's going to come up. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at support@tradingkernel.com, and we're going to respond to you. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.